In this video, I'll share 17 or 18 or 19 essential ChatGPT hacks that everyone must know. And these are hacks that you may not have seen elsewhere because I have some experience in natural language programming. I'm a programmer myself. And with prompt tuning, you can produce much better ChatGPT results for your studying or research. So if that excites you, stay until the end. If you're new to the channel, my name is Srijan and I am a new graduate from Stanford University. I live in the Bay Area and I love making videos about education and technology. And if that interests you, you should really subscribe to the channel. All right, so the first big use case of ChatGPT is text summarization. ChatGPT is exceptional at summarizing long pieces of text, and you can use it for your blogs, readings, and anything else. So there's a really long and interesting blog article here on the history of apartheid that I want the key points of. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to come back to ChatGPT and I'll paste it. And I add my prompts to the end because to a language model, it usually does not matter where you add your prompts. So I'll just say, be concise and summarize in bullets, which means I want bullet points of the summary. I'll scroll down and we can see ChatGPT has given us bullet points. Another way of using this is to give some more instruction on how you want your summarization. So what I say is use themes to summarize and be concise. And then usually they'll summarize with themes like racial segregation is a theme, inequality is a theme. You can also summarize chronologically by order of events. And language models are really good at understanding instructions like this. And see, now they're giving a summary that's chronological. So from 1948 to 1950s and 1960s and so on. This is a great way of doing any reading, particularly in history, in literature, or something else. ChatGPT can help you write better emails. And I use it to change the tones of my emails because I want to do emails fast. And then sometimes I have to make the emails friendly or a bit scary. Really depends on the use case. So I have an email here and it basically says, hi X, after reviewing your performance and our one-on-one calls, we have determined that you have failed in 3 of the 5 critical areas. The 3 big failures are this, this, and that. This means, unfortunately, we have to terminate your contract. Now, I want to send this email to an employee, but I want it to be friendly and I don't want it to be bad. Rewrite with empathy email. And just the word email is enough for context. You'd see the written email is much better. It has the richness of the original 3 points, and it's just a much better and a much more empathetic way of writing it. Another thing we can do is we can paste another email that we wrote in a very fast way, and we want it to be friendly and congratulate someone. So basically someone got their admission to our online debate course and we want to help them be the best version of themselves, and we want this email to be very friendly. So once I type this, see, ChatGPT wrote an exceptional email which is very friendly, and it uses like congratulations and other stuff. You can also do like be friendly and rewrite with emojis. And ChatGPT does a great job at putting emojis in the email. This is way quicker and way faster. A really important way of writing emails in 2024. ChatGPT is an amazing tool for LinkedIn Connect requests or any email where you have to reach out to someone, especially if you have to do some research beforehand. So for example, I want to show an example of a famous content creator, Gohar Khan, who makes educational content as well. And say I want to send a connect request to him on LinkedIn. I will copy paste his entire profile and then I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll basically say, write short, concise LinkedIn connect request note focused on our mutual interest in college prep for this profile. Then I'll paste the entire profile and see this wrote a long kind of email, but we don't want an email. We want a LinkedIn connect request. So I will say rewrite a short, concise LinkedIn connect request with less than 300 characters. Sometimes you have to play with the prompt a bit. So I wanted to show that part of the journey as well. See, now this is way better. Hi Gohar, impressed by your college prep work. Let's connect and share insights. Regards. Or you can write something else as well. Rewrite with more praises. And then it does something with a slightly more praising tone. But you can change things. Usually ChatGPT is not great at sticking to character restrictions, but it's worth playing around. 5th point, ChatGPT is really awesome for brainstorming essay ideas. I think the future of essay writing is collaborative, where we talk with AI and we generate some ideas and AI generates some ideas, and then we back and forth instruct the AI to write in different ways. So I'll brainstorm some essay ideas with ChatGPT. I'll have to write an essay on the transformative power of digital art, and can ChatGPT brainstorm for me? And I'll send it. It is suggesting me some stuff: pixel art and retro gaming, virtual reality, NFTs. These are all cool ideas. Let's say I want to write something with NFTs, and because I have some ideas there. So I'll copy paste another prompt, and I'll basically say, sure, I want to write about NFT art revolution. My initial ideas are, and I'll give 3 ideas, that scarcity created through NFTs is a good thing, assets are transferable and they're economic assets. I want more ideas from ChatGPT in similar lines. And then see, ChatGPT is giving me some ideas, and they're better than mine, like decentralized ownership, global accessibility, secondary market royalties. And then I can also ask them to elaborate on something, like give me case studies on secondary market royalties for NFT. Then they're giving me some really cool case studies, like Beeple, renowned artists for his NFT work, or CryptoPunks, etc., etc. I will have to verify this information because ChatGPT can hallucinate, it can lie, but for idea generations or arguments for essays, largely they have great arguments. But for the facts or research that it quotes, I usually just ask it to either verify, give evidence, or I verify it myself. GPT-4 gives you link and citations. So if you really care about the authenticity of the information, you should use GPT-4, or you should manually verify these things. Writing personal statements with ChatGPT is a game changer because you can just focus on your experiences and anecdotes, and you can give AI an outline of what you want to write about, and then AI will do the job, and then you can edit over it repeatedly. There's a saying that there's no bad writing, only bad editing, so it's a great idea to do that. So I will give it a prompt that I want to write a Common App essay about my experience working as a mango picker in an orchard. This taught me grit, perseverance, and presence. I use these things in school all the time. This made me chair of student council, valedictorian, and a high school swimmer. These are like toy achievements, right? But you can write actual facts about your achievements if you want. And I will also say what I want in terms of conclusion. I'm the proud mango picker son of a humble farmer, and my parents didn't have education, but I'll change everything with education at university. For example, in this case, Harvard. And I'll say, write me a Common App essay in the style of George R.R. Martin. Don't mention it. And I'll also specify the emotions I want: calm, serene, determined to succeed. And I'll say use visual languages and vivid metaphors and imagery. Now, this last paragraph is really important because this is the actual prompt. The rest of the thing is the context that the user provides. And you can change this last paragraph. You can say, write in the style of Neil Gaiman or some other author. And I've seen that by changing styles, it's really useful. So I'll see what it generates at first, and see it's generating an essay. And to be honest, the quality of writing is actually really good. In the quiet embrace of dawn, as the first rays of sunlight caressed the world, I found myself amid the verdant sanctuary of an orchard. That's a pretty impressive line. Like it's far better than what I could have come up with myself. So you should definitely give this a try. Pro tip, another great way is to write your own paragraph and then ask ChatGPT to edit it in the style of a particular author. That works exceptionally well. You can change authors, you can change different styles, and the output writing is way better. If you do this, I'll highly recommend to go to a website like ZeroGPT and check how much of it, after your prompt tuning, was generated by ChatGPT, because that's a common way of finding plagiarism. But my recommendation is, once you get the draft from ChatGPT, just edit over it extensively to the point that it's not AI generated anymore. So editing on top of AI generated content is a great strategy to write exceptional essays. ChatGPT is really good for meta learning. So sometimes when you're trying to learn something new, you don't know what you should learn because you have no idea about the field and you are at a loss, right? So say you are trying to revise for something or study something, you can ask ChatGPT to make you a syllabus for it. So for example, say I want to learn Python and I have no idea of how Python works. I will say, I have to learn Python in 7 days. Make me a day-by-day syllabus. Well, even if I typo, ChatGPT would have understood it, so that's fine. And then see, it gives me literally a broken down version of what I should do. Like day 2, I should study conditional statements, Boolean expressions, etc., etc. And this way of meta learning, where ChatGPT makes a syllabus for you, is a really good way of learning things fast. ChatGPT is an interactive textbook because it's trained on the entire internet. So I ask questions in ChatGPT and then I ask it to elaborate on things all the time. I always usually start with, be concise but informational. Then I'll say, explain to me how do file systems work in Linux. So point by one, they're saying there's a file hierarchy. something called iNotes, something called data blocks, etc. Say I want to learn more about iNotes, then I can just ask it to give me more information about iNotes. So I can say, what are iNotes? Explain with a metaphor. That's another great thing about ChatGPT. A textbook is static, right? It's frozen in the span of time. Once it's written, it cannot be changed. So it's not personalized or interactive. But generative AI, you can ask it to talk to you in a particular way. And that's why it's so powerful of an educational tool. So it's giving me various metaphors that explain what iNotes are with a library catalog, or it's similar to books, or it's similar to patrons. And these really help you to understand things at a much faster rate. Interactive research. ChatGPT is really good at interactive research. I often ask it to give me summaries of book notes, and then I'll ask it to explain or elaborate a concept from those summaries. So I'll write a prompt, book summary, what are 10 key insights of Guns, Germs, and Steel. And I almost don't read books anymore without these kinds of insights, because I think I should know what I'm getting into. And okay, this is a really good summary of the book. And I'll say, okay, maybe I want to know more about point 2. So I'll say, elaborate this. And then it's going to give me a pretty detailed compression of the chapter and what it talked about. It talked about these concepts: population growth, division of labor. And I think this is a really cool way of learning about a book faster, but you can still read the original book if you want to. When I was revising for my exams at Stanford, and if I have to remember anything for an exam, if I was studying for liberal education or English classes, I would use flashcards often. And these flashcards are really useful to remember things. So ChatGPT is actually exceptional at making flashcards. So say I want to revise electricity in AP physics, and I'll ask ChatGPT to make me a bunch of flashcards for it. See, it has already made flashcards. Maybe I don't want to see the answer, so I'll say hide the answers, ask me the questions. And now you have an interactive flashcard where you can check one by one if you wanted to. I could give another prompt that asks me questions one by one, ask me questions one by one, and I'm sure it will ask me a question. And now I have an interactive grader who's taking a voice or Viva exam of me, and I'll interact with ChatGPT if I want to. To do well in exams, testing your knowledge is super important, and a great way of doing it is to ask ChatGPT to ask you questions on the fly. So I'll ask it, test my understanding of conditional probability with multi-guess questions. And then, voila, they're going to give me a bunch of multi-guess questions. Okay, the prompt actually failed in this case, and sometimes I want to keep it in the video because sometimes there are bloopers like this. No, I want you to ask me 10 multi. And then they actually understood what they wanted, what we wanted them to do. These things can happen, then you should just solve these questions. And maybe I'll take a random one. Question 1, choice C is my choice. Am I correct? And then ChatGPT will also give me the correct answer in some cases. Now, they can make mistakes. ChatGPT is a language model, it's not a math model, but oftentimes for basic things, you'll see they remember the right answers, and you'll be able to test your understanding like this. My favorite use case of ChatGPT is to use it for verifying my knowledge and to find gaps in my knowledge. So I'll often ask it a basic question like, what's eigendecomposition? It's a tool in linear algebra, it's very powerful, and I'll ask it, and maybe I'll ask it during revision. It's going to give me a bunch of things. It says, okay, it's for a square matrix. So maybe I think that, okay, so it's true for all square matrices. So I'll ask it, so eigendecomp is true for all square matrices. And I often don't write full words because ChatGPT truncates words anyway. So as long as the context is clear, it will understand what your intent is. Then ChatGPT says, nope, you are wrong. It's not applicable to all square matrices, and it gives a reason why that's true. So this is a very good way of checking your assumptions early and finding mistakes in your assumptions, which you cannot do in a live lecture, but you can do in an interactive AI. So the future of education is personalized and interactive, and you should really verify your knowledge with tools like this. Metaphors and analogies are the best way of remembering things when you're learning them for the first time. And you can ask ChatGPT to give you a metaphor or analogy of anything. Ignore whatever text there was, but we will write here. Explain with analogy the Doppler effect, which is a popular concept in AP and O-levels, A-levels physics. And with an analogy, they're going to explain us what the Doppler effect is. It starts with, imagine you're standing on the side of the road. I can really, imagine like a movie scene. So these analogies are really cool, and it will help you remember things better. Concepts will stick on your mind better. And if you struggle to come up with your own analogies, you can use ChatGPT to make you good ones. Whenever I have any exam on which my memory is tested, like I have to remember or memorize things, I make mnemonics. Mnemonics are the easiest way and the best way to remember things for exams. So I often ask ChatGPT to make mnemonics for my exams now because it does a better job. So say I want a mnemonic about orders of magnitude, and I will just write it here. Now see, it's a bit wrong because I wanted the third word to start with giga. So I'll actually ask it to do this again. Write me a mnemonic on orders of magnitude. The first letter of each word should match the order of magnitude symbol, like KMG, and so on and so forth. And now, kangaroos march gracefully through prairies, eating zealously year-round. And if you check, this is consistent. Prairies, eating zealously year-round. So sometimes you have to play with the model a bit. It's not perfect, but if you give it examples, which is called few-shot learning, if you're curious, or one-shot in this case because we gave one example, then it can learn pretty cool things. So try it, mnemonics with few-shot learning, really powerful tool. The next few use cases are for coding, and I am a software engineer. I love coding, I code every day, and ChatGPT has half my time of writing code because I often write boilerplate code with ChatGPT. So I'll just say something like, write me boilerplate code for a React class component navbar. And it's a classic component, so there are many people who have written codes like this, and that's why ChatGPT is very good at this. But if you are implementing something unique, something novel, you have to do something else. You'll have to define scope of what you want. So here, as you see, it gave me a navbar, and I'll copy paste it, I'll change things appropriately, and I'll be good to go. Now, boilerplate code is a great use case of using ChatGPT for writing more code, but sometimes you want accuracy, and if you want more accuracy of your code, you have to really narrowly scope what ChatGPT can give for you. So I'll say I want decomposition and narrowly scope, which should be a P here, SCOPE, and I want the following things, and I'll specify exactly the functions I want. I want a read file, a file remover, and a write file function, and I also say what parameters it accepts, and I say what things it returns, and then I press enter. And since I've scoped narrowly what I want from it, it's likely to be way more accurate. It gave me the read file, it gave me the file remover, it gave me the write file. It works even better if you specify what data structures you want. So I said use, like, check in a set if they exist, and they did. So it's a much easier way of generating accurate code if you narrowly scope your code for ChatGPT. Finding bugs with ChatGPT is a very good way of getting unblocked if you're stuck. It's not always accurate, but if the bug is common, it can often find it. So I gave a buggy implementation of toSum, which is a leak code question, and I'll say find the bug in it. And in many cases, ChatGPT is actually accurate. They find the bug correctly. And here it says, okay, in this line, you are finding the bug and you need to check for distinctness. And I think this is a pretty cool way of finding bugs. A more common use case, I don't use it for finding bugs actually, but a more common use case for me is interpreting bug error statements. Because for some languages, the error statements can be cryptic, and ChatGPT can give you more context in simple language of error statements. So you should totally try it out. After this ridiculously long video, I need to take a quick vacation. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to make me a 4-day trip to New York itinerary. And let's see what ChatGPT gives me. Okay, arrival in New York, Manhattan exploration, etc., etc. But maybe I want something else. So I can ask it, make it by time. So I want like something like morning, afternoon, evening, etc. Maybe I want by distance. So sort these places by distance. I want to visit close landmarks in 1 day. So maybe previously it gave it in terms of themes or just major attractions, but now it's gonna say, okay, start at Statue of Liberty and Silence, then go to Battery Park, and then walk to 9/11 Memorial. And these are actually next to each other. Like this makes sense. In terms of distance, you should do these things first. So this is a really easy way of making your travel plans, and I would recommend you try other things. Other cool things you can do with ChatGPT, you can find recipes, you can find rules of things you want. You can also ask it to be funny or like write you new stuff. I often use it to write some parts of newsletters. So it's a very cool tool, and I hope you have fun with it. If you stuck until this point, thank you so much. If you want more stuff like this, you should subscribe to this channel. Maybe share it with your friends if you learned one new thing. Until next time, have a cracking day.